Joining me now in the studio for this development is the Lagos State Police Commissioner, Olohundare Jimoh. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us. I mean, looking at those visuals, were you moved? At what point was it necessary to use tear gas on those protesters? Because it looked largely peaceful.
Thank you so much. That's what it seems. I want to, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to come here to come and see our own part of the story. And we thank Nigeria for listening to us this evening. When the protest started, we warned them that the protest and expression of our opinions or our grievances are part of essentials of democracy that is entitled to by every Nigerian. But our right stops where that of others begin. And the march, you can see even the clip that you are showing, that the police were with them from under the bridge in Ikeja till they get to Alausa. That's why the fact that they blocked the public highway. People who have medical emergencies were locked up in traffic. People who are going to travel out of the country or within Nigeria were locked up using a long way. They couldn't get to where they're going. There are a lot of complaints, but we exhibit a sense of restraint in ensuring that they see the reason to go peacefully. So when they get to the House of Assembly, the House were informed. I was on ground. Like you said, the clip, the rain abuses on me, but I work under pressure and I don't yield to such sentiment. So in the process, the 5 members of House of Assembly members came out to address them. But because they are in segment, you can see the people from Olohundare, the Mokoko people, the people from Owura and other area. And they see the reason why they should listen to the House of Assembly member. But those who consider themselves as the arrowhead that stimulates the protest have a different agenda of violence. And that is why they resist all opportunity to be peaceful. So in the circumstance, after being addressed by 5 members of the House of Assembly, Lagos State House of Assembly, they subsequently ordered the protester to sit down on the road and block entirely public transport coming in from Alausa Road into the Alausa, the House of Assembly, into other area in Alausa and Ikeja. So, and we warn them, this is dangerous even for their life and the life of other road users. So like I said, that was the point, that we have to use minimum force to be able to ensure
water cannons.
Minimum force.
Tear gas.
Yes, tear gas. When you say tear gas is part of our minimum force. It's not lethal weapon. Nobody fired a single shot throughout the entire process. Your reporters were there, the reporter of other media houses were equally there. If there's any weapon that is fired, you hear the shot. So the tear gas is part of the minimum force to ensure that the areas.
No, but I'm curious because some persons were injured, like you saw in the report. That could have been avoided if that camper for safety wasn't necessitated by the use of
other Nigerians.
I mean,
Nigerians.
The question I asked remains, okay, sir. Couldn't you have used maybe water cannons? Because those tear gas, I have experienced.
Water cannon equally carry hot water. Water cannon have hot water. And that where they are stationed, there's a water cannon there. So those are the minimum force that we can use. So at that point in time, to use the tear gas is the minimum force that we can dwell on to be able to ensure that we don't have a completely breakdown of law and order on our hands, because they insisted they are going to surge into the House of Assembly. And nobody can allow that, because these are people that are not profiled, these are people they cannot account for, and they can cause more mayhem if they enter into the House of Assembly.
Was there no way to arrest those who were instigating the protest then? Because I'm sure some of the persons that were instigating it were not harmed. It was the innocent ones who wanted to air their concerns that got...
Everybody that want to hear their concern were heard reasonably. 5 members of the Lagos State House of Assembly came out to address them. And in this process, surging into the House of Assembly, without proper check, nobody, no commissioner of police will allow that to happen. And it is on the basis of that we constantly advise them. But they insisted that they will enter into the House of Assembly by force. Some of them are already searching on the gate. And at that point in time, we have to use, like I keep on emphasizing minimum force to dispatch them. In this process, we arrested one Taiwo Hassan and one Dele Frank. Both are in our custody, and we have
on what basis was that arrest conducted?
For disturbance of public peace, for conduct likely to create fear and apprehension in the public, and so for blocking the major road in the state, and disallowing other road users access to this public facility. It is completely wrong for them to have done so.
But aren't you concerned about the bad rep that this gives? I mean, yes, the bad reputation that this seems to give. This is not the first time, sir, with all due respect, this is not the first time that the police have been said to use tear gas when they could have explored other options. I talked about water cannon, and you said there could also be hot water cannon. But I mean, there are other ways that could have been
you can. Employed. The other way are the way that they have disallowed it to function, because I come around there. In fact, they met me there, waiting for them to address them on the need to be peaceful, on the need to allow the leadership of the House of Assembly to come and talk to them and hear their grievances and take the grievances ahead for the management of the House of Assembly to deal with. Subsequently, they disallowed this, and despite that, the leadership of the House of Assembly sent 5 honorable members to come and talk to them, and they came and talked to them. And subsequently, you still decide to block this highway, Alausa way to House of Assembly Road in Alausa, were blocked for 6 good hours, not allowing traffic. So it is quite important that when we carry out our right as enshrined in the Constitution, we consider the right of others. If protests are peaceful, we don't need to use any minimum force.
Okay, so this Taiwo that was arrested, is he one of the organizers of the protest?
He was arrested in the act because we recovered a coffin. Anybody that is coming for a peaceful protest will not carry coffin. They carry coffin, and equally is part of
there are speculations that this particular person seems to be in your radar. Civil society groups are saying that at the moment. I don't understand what they mean by that in our radar, for what? Because if the protest was a group of persons, you only arrested 2.
Those are the arrowheads that caused the disturbance, because we equally recovered a Canter Toyota truck that they used in blocking the road. This Canter Toyota truck was used to block the road, and Taiwo Hassan and Dele Frank were inside the truck that were used to block the road. The other people that were brought in from different segments, because after warning them, some of them dispatched.
So what would be the charges against these individuals now?
We are going to charge them to court in the court of competent jurisdiction for disorder of public peace, for causing chaos and causing pandemonium, and equally obstructing public highway, disallow other Nigerians the access to those highways. Like I said in the press release that my PRO sent out, we have reports of people that fainted in their vehicle during the process of the 6 hours that they blocked Alausa Road, and equally the road leading to that.
Is there a follow-up from the police on those who were injured as a result of this?
As I speak with you, if not that you are showing me on the click now, there's no any report in any of the police stations that anybody is injured in this process. No death was recorded, no injury was recorded. But we follow up on this, and we want them to go to any nearest police station to lay their complaint if there's anybody that is injured.
I think this question I'll ask you now is very important. Would you consider subsequent, because this is not, I said earlier that this is not the first time that the police is using tear gas.
Example.
Would you consider in the future using other softer measures?
Tear gas are part of the minimum force.
Yes, agreed, but we also have...
and protest. So if you are telling me
this is not an uprising. These are people who are concerned about their properties.
No, please. We have degree of weapon we can use. We have rubber bullets.
So why the preference for tear gas?
Because at that point in time, there's no anything that we can do to protect the infrastructure of the National Assembly and people who are therein from being attacked and from being run over. And that's why we have to use minimum force of tear gas. In the other matter that you said, possibly, he's not in our radar. I know Taiwo Hassan. I don't know him by any other name. So it's not in my radar for anything. Even when they went to the Milan Bridge, the Milan Bridge...
You've stylishly not responded to the part where I asked, would you consider other options? I'm sure
definitely
there are other,
the option of dialogues And that is
No,
when
in
we
the case
employ
of protest, because protest is also a right.
protest, if it's peaceful, is allowed by the law. But when you take laws into your hand to block public highway, disallow other Nigerians, millions of Nigerians, from the use of that public highway, there is no more a protest. When you go to protest ground and you are carrying coffin already, and you are carrying a vehicle with loudspeaker with generator, and you are using it to block other Nigerians from use of that highway, then your rights stop there. So protests should be peaceful, and we'll continue to abide with protests.
I want to say thank you for obliging us today and stating the side of the police. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.